Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Supadantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Utpadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saguna Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Saguna Lalita Sri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Shavasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangam langyate girim Yatkripatavaham vande Shri Gurudinataranam Paramanandam Madhavam Shri Guru Paramananda Premananda Phalaprada Vrajananda Pradhananda Sevayam Maniyojaya Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunavadi Pashachade Shatarane. Hare Krishna. So Rup Raghunath Prabhu, are we starting with the Q&A or with the presentations?
Yes, Prabhuji. So last week you had given the chapter 5 overview. We did not have the opportunity for Q&A. So we'll start with that. I already see a hand raised, and then later part of the class will go into the group presentations. So Shri Padma Manjari Mataji, please go ahead.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes.
Please accept my humble obeisances. My query is so Nishkama Karma Yoga is doing your duties without attachment of the results. But the thing that is different with Bhakti Yoga is that we're doing for the results for Krishna, everything for the pleasure of Krishna. So what would be an example of a Nishkarma Karma, yogi? Like someone going to work and they don't care if they get money or not. That's the only thing I'm having a little difficulty understanding.
Sure. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
Good question. So like you mentioned that for one who is practicing Bhakti Yoga, the Nishkam is a corollary, it's a side effect because everything is being done for the pleasure of Krishna. Then as a side effect, one loses the sense of ownership or enjoyment of the results. For a person who's performing in Nishkam without the platform of Bhakti, the focus is coming from the platform of Gyan, that such a person, they understand that they're not the body, they are the soul, the activities are being done by the body, the enjoyment is done by the body, but since they are not the body, they are not attached to either doing the activity or enjoying the results. So they may not necessarily be Krishna conscious, which is why just from the platform of progression, Nishkam karma, when it matures, so it is propelled by Atma Gyan, by the knowledge of the self, and it matures more in the same, that one gets more firmly established in the conception that I'm not the body, I'm the soul. So that's the gradual progression from the yoga ladder perspective. And as we'll see in the 12th chapter, that bhakti is kind of at the peak of it. So they say that nishkam can either be jnana ashrit or bhakti ashrit. So one may perform nishkam taking shelter of gyan or taking shelter of bhakti. Okay. Thank you. Sharadya Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, I wanted to ask, previously I had heard either from Srila Prabhupada's lecture or from reading Srila Prabhupada's book that God realization and self-realization happen simultaneously. However, when I was hearing our Bhakti Shastri classes, my understanding was that first it's a ladder where the self-realization happens first and then the God realization happens. So Prabhuji, I wanted clarification on that.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So if we proceed on the path of gradual development, the yoga ladder essentially comes into play, wherein we have stages of Atma realization, Paramatma realization, and Bhagwan realization. Right? That's the gradual path. But then at the same time, bhakti is independent. It's not dependent on any prior advancements. So Vishwanath Chakravarti makes this point in Madhurya Kadamini that bhakti can be bestowed upon one who has no realizations, who is completely materialistic, because it comes by the mercy of the devotee. And once bhakti grows, then it subsumes, it encompasses within it all the other realizations. So the example that is given is that once the sun rises, then one sees the sun, one sees the self, and one sees everything around. So similarly, when bhakti comes, one sees Krishna, one sees one's own self, which means Atmagyan, and one sees the material, the nature of the material and the spiritual world. So Srila Prabhupada, considering our current situation, understands that in the age of Kali, making progress on the gradual path is not possible. So Nishkam karma is more exalted. We cannot even do Sakam karma, which is acting according to the Vedic scriptures. Even that's difficult for us. And then there's also the mercy of Mahaprabhu. So he always guides us to the path of directly to take to the path of bhakti.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Any other thoughts, questions, comments? Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Follow-up question, Prabhuji, on the first question that Padmamanji had asked. So when we are happy, I think it's a little bit easy to play with the philosophy that we have learned that, how we are supposed to conduct ourselves. But how does it play when we are dealing with situations which are not very conducive and we are suffering despite following the principles, but it becomes a little difficult at that point in time. So any guidance and suggestions, say if somebody loses his job or if somebody loses his loved ones, how do we motivate ourselves?
Yeah, I think it's a very practical question, and you're right. It's easy to try and practice detachment when things are going your way. as opposed to when things are not. Now, one thing important that we have to understand here is that detachment does not mean stoicism, does not mean that one becomes, um, one is not able to experience happiness or grief, or one does not experience sorrow or concerns. What detachment means is that one does not let that bewilder oneself. So the example that is given is of Arjun on the battlefield. So he had heard the whole Bhagavad Gita, and being an exalted soul, he had realized it. And then we see that later on, he loses his son, Abhimanyu dies. And then he displays all the symptoms of anger and grief, takes a vow, I'll kill Jayadratha. But he does not let it interfere with his duty. So he still continues. It's not that, he gives up his bow and arrow. And if you contrast that with the conduct of Dronacharya, when he hears that Ashwatthama has died, he gives up his bow and arrow, he sits and he says, okay, now I'm going to perform austerities. So one is, of course, allowed to feel grief and anger and everything else. But the quality of a Nishkam Karmi is that the person does not let that determine the course of actions. The person does not get bewildered by it.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wonderful examples of Arjuna.
Thank you. Okay, so if there are no more questions, then we can proceed to the presentations.
Right, and I think we're going to go in reverse order. So the topic 1 would be presented by group 6 first. So group 6, please, you can start.
Okay, so Sarati Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Mataji, you can share the slides.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. The topic of our group discussion today is work as renunciate in transcendental knowledge, but still fight. We'll be doing a role play presentation with Kunti Mataji as Arjun. She will be presenting Arjun's perspective leading to confusion. And myself, Sharadi, will present Krishna's instructions to Arjuna and the conclusion.
Okay. Arjun's perspective leading to confusion. My dear Krishna, you have been very kind and patiently explained to me various aspects and glories of transcendental knowledge. You have instructed me on the topics like Sankhya Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Karma Yoga. You also glorified renouncing karma by adopting Gyan. As you have explained, this transcendental knowledge is so pure and sublime. Hold on a second. That it can easily free one from illusion, give one everlasting peace, happiness, detachment, and forbearance, burn away all material karma, grant one spiritual vision, which allows one to see everything as a part and parcel of Supreme Lord. Transcendental knowledge can be compared to a perfect boat for crossing the ocean of material existence. My dear Madhav, if the purpose of all sacrificial work is to arrive at the status of divine knowledge, and if cultivation of transcendental knowledge and self-realization is the goal of life, then isn't it better that I take the path of renunciation for acquiring knowledge and not engage in the act of fighting? If transcendental knowledge alone can carry one beyond the ocean of material existence, then why should I engage in the act of violence and fight? If everyone is forced to work under the spell of 3 modes of material nature, then what is the point in fighting with the sons of Dhritarashtra? Krishna, O spiritual master, I submissively approach you with these questions. How can I fight after acquiring this transcendental knowledge from you, knowing that all who have assembled here are your parts and parcels? It is not I can't see the bottom. Go ahead, Mataji. Please guide me. What is better for me, to renounce work or to work in devotion? I'm very much confused.
Krishna's instructions and the contrary action Krishna wants Arjun to take. O Mahabaho, O chastiser of enemy, your questions and doubts are both glorious because it will not only clear your confusion but will also guide the generations to come. I have previously explained to you that by renunciation alone, one cannot attain perfection. No one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Everyone is forced to work helplessly according to the three modes of nature. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. Those who are ignorant perform their duties with attachment to results. However, those who are learned do their duties with detachment for the sake of leading people on the right path. Because whatever actions a great man performs, common men follow. Next. Therefore, outwardly perform your prescribed duty, but inwardly renounce the fruits of your actions. Surrender all your activities unto me, with full knowledge of me, without desire for profit, proprietorship, and laziness. Fight for the religious war because fighting is the duty of a Kshatriya. By acting as a matter of duty, offering your actions and its results to Lord Vishnu, you can easily attain the supreme goal of life. Working in this way, Nishkam Karma, you will become free from the bondage of work. Knowledge alone cannot grant liberation. In order to escape, uh,
Sorry.
it's okay. Let me see. In order to escape from the material bondage, one has to work in the status of spirit soul. Situate your intelligence in the knowledge of your true self as my eternal servant. Then try to develop love for devotional service to Vasudev and work for his satisfaction. Mere renunciation of fruitive activities does not even purify the heart of a conditioned soul and always entails a risk of falling down. Without purification of heart, one's work remains at the platform of fruitive work. However, actions performed in the full consciousness of me strengthen one's advancement in real knowledge, provides protection from falling down, and results in the purification of heart. To consider devotional service, Karma Yoga, different from Jnana Yoga or Sankhya, is a sign of ignorance. Those who are learned know the unifying aim of these different processes. The real student of Sankhya finds the root of material world, which is Lord Vishnu, and then in perfect knowledge engages himself in the service of the Lord. Therefore, only the immature thinks that knowledge and action are different, but a wise sees them as the same because the aim of both is Vishnu. And therefore, those who happily perform their prescribed duties in full consciousness of me have the guarantee of ultimate entrance into the kingdom of God. Therefore, O Arjuna, while fighting on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, you are not really fighting, you are simply carrying out my orders. However, if you neglect your constitutional position of service to me and act according to your own desire, you may become entrapped by illusion and may become the cause of your own bewilderment. At the end, I would like to share my personal realization that when actions are performed for the pleasure of Supreme Lord, then Gyan becomes Vigyan, knowledge of scriptures becomes realizations, faith becomes stronger, and a devotee feels the Lord's loving reciprocation and mercy in his day-to-day life. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. Thank you.
Group 5.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
My
Krishna.
name is Romit, and along with Nilamani Das Prabhu, we are Group 5. We'll be presenting on the topic of why not become a renunciate, no work, and be happy. Verse 5.6. I hope my screen is visible to all of you.
So Prabhuji, we are just seeing the desktop and not the slide deck.
Okay,
If you can bring the slide, now we can see the slide deck. Yeah, this is good.
okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Prabhu, you can increase the size, please. You can maybe go on presentation mode.
One second. It does not allow me to do that, but let me try. Okay. Is this okay? All right.
Hare Krishna. Devotional service and Nishkam Karma, actually both paths are recommended by Krishna. Then which one to follow, Prabhu?
So Krishna says that the renunciation of work and working in devotion are both good for liberation. However, of the two paths, working in devotional service is better than renunciation.
Okay. But Prabhu, if a person who actually has reached the level of Atma Gyan renunciates from the work and has his senses under his control, such a person is not relying on the work for purification. And actually, on the other hand, Nishkam Karma is also a good path to follow, as it fixes the heart in the purity. Then why is one path better than the other?
Very nice question, Prabhu. This is a situation of inaction in action. That is Gyan in karma. Now, benefit of Gyan is that it is a progressive stage. It brings one closer to his spiritual identity. Benefit of karma is that it provides protection. So if at the stage of Gyan, for whatever reason, if one's senses wander, then the person has no protection, because a person on path of Gyan is a sannyasi who renunciates from work.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you. But I still don't understand and have the clarity. Can you explain with the help of an example, Prabhu?
Sure. Let's assume a person who is at the stage of Atmagyan and has taken sannyas. Now, due to some reason, this person develops attraction towards the opposite sex. Now, because the person is a sannyasi, there is no facility in sannyas ashram to marry or to associate with the opposite sex. Therefore, this person will suffer and eventually fall down. On the other hand, if there is a grihastha who's executing his household duties with full detachment, so he's executing karma on the platform of Gyan, so he's like a sannyasi. Thus, he is in the platform of Atma Gyan and has full realization of himself and has no attachment to the activities or their fruits. But circumstantially, if his senses wander and he develops sexual urges, then within the ashram of Grihastha, he can satisfy those urges, and thus he does not suffer and he does not fall down. This is the protection that I am talking about. Nilamani Prabhu.
Sorry, Prabhu, I was on mute. Thank you, Prabhu, for this example. I still have a query, Prabhu. The process of sannyas involves detachment, where the process of karma yoga involves attachment. Then how come both are on the same level?
So here we are talking about sannyas, which is detachment from matter, and we are talking about karma yoga, which is attachment to Krishna. So which is one and the same. So even though the two processes appear different, basically the two processes are one and the same as they deliver the same result. So to conclude, karma executed on the platform of Gyan is superior to only Gyan because of the ability to provide protection, while the Jiva continues to make advancements. Thus, a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service is better than a renounced person. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Good, Prabhu. I like the way you teased out the important points. So I think you have a good understanding and you did a very good job sharing that also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. All good, Prabhu.
Group 4.
Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. Let me share my screen, folks. Shivaji Prabhu, you can start.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today our present topic is performing one's duty without attachment, how to practice in today's age. First, one need to understand the duty and detachment. Duty is nothing but dharma, refers to one's responsibilities and obligations in life, which can be personal, professional, social, or spiritual. Detachment is nothing but vairagya. It is performing one's duty without attachment to the results. It means focusing on the actions itself rather than the outcome. The Bhagavad Gita teaches the concept of karma yoga, nishkama karma, which is the path of performing actions without attachment to the results. According to this philosophy, one should perform their duties as a service to God without seeking my personal gain or reward. In Bhagavad Gita 5.10 says, a person who is acting in Nishkama Karma platforms knows that everything belongs to Lord Krishna. And he acts according to the knowledge that body is property of Krishna and engages in service of Krishna with no desire for results. When one is working for the pleasure of Krishna, giving everything back to Krishna as an offering of love, he will not be affected by any of the reactions of the work. Even the work is sinful, just as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. Practicing Nishkama Karma in today's age. In personal life, fulfill your responsibility towards the family with love and care. Do not expect anything in return. Instead, find joy in act of giving and supporting them, since family is given by the Lord. In professional life, perform your job with full dedication and integrity. Focus on the quality of your work rather than the rewards, then surrender the results onto the Supreme Lord. Coming to social responsibilities, engage in community service, do some charity, etc., but don't seek personal gain or recognition because Krishna has given us the capacity to serve the society in different ways. In spiritual practice, chant the holy names, worship the deities, do Vaishnava Seva, and spread the Krishna conscious movement and all the other spiritual activities with sincerity. But do not become attached to any of the results.
Benefit of performing the duties without attachment. When we perform our duties without attachment, we are free from the fear of failure and the pressure to constantly prove our worth. This allows us to work with a sense of purpose and to give our best effort in all that we do. This approach frees the individual from the stress and anxiety. It brings the peace of mind, and this inner peace allows us to be more productive, more creative, and more fulfilled in all areas of our life. We will be free from the negative thoughts and emotions. We can focus on the present moment and enjoy the work that we do, regardless of the outcome. As Krishna says few verses in the Bhagavad Gita about the Nishkama Karma. Bhagavad Gita 2.47. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalva heturbhur matte sangastva akarmani. Translation. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty. Bhagavad Gita 3.19. Tasmad Tasmad asakta satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hi acharan karma param apnoti purusha. Translation. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. For by Working without attachment, one attains the supreme. Conclusion. Everything we are having belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, everything can be engaged in the service of the Lord. Nothing should be used for one's sense gratification. This is real renunciation. We should be satisfied with whatever is supplied by Krishna without much personal endeavor. We should spend our time executing devotional service in Krishna consciousness. By integrating these principles of duty and detachment from the Bhagavad Gita into modern life, one can lead a balanced life. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you for this.
Good, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Very comprehensive. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, next group 3.
Hare Krishna. So we are from group 3. Our topic is being a Samadarshi in today's time, practical challenges and where we get the inspiration from. So next. So first, who is a Samadarshi? So someone is a Samadarshi is someone who sees with equal vision, and he sees no difference in bodies, like a dog or a dog eater, cow, learned Brahmana, elephant, all are same for him. And for them, the difference of body is all meaningless. He also has equanimity of mind. He's not disturbed by the dualities of nature, which makes him self-realized. He's not illusioned by the false identification of the body. So, next.
Why is it hard to be a Samadarshi? It's hard because we're naturally attached to the material body from time immemorial. So we end up identifying oneself as our body and not as our soul. And this extends even to extensions of our body, like our friends or our relatives. If something seemingly bad happens to them, we take it personally. If something bad happens to our child, for example, we might take it personally as if something's happening to our own body. So that's why we're very, very attached to our body and extensions of our body. Also, we have the threefold miseries to contend with, and these make it really difficult to be equipoised. The three kleshas or miseries are Adidevika, Adibhautika, and Adhyatmika. So Adidevika are things, natural disasters, for example, like hurricanes and tornadoes. You can lose precious possessions or even your home, and that can be very disturbing. Adibhautika are disturbances caused by other living entities. It can be as small, insignificant disturbances like mosquitoes, or even bigger disturbances like family members or neighbors causing distraction and disturbance. And then Adhyatmika, which is our own body and our own mind troubling ourselves. Things like mental illness or bodily diseases like cancer, they can cause a lot of pain and suffering. So it can be very difficult to focus on spiritual life and be equipoised in that situation. And another factor on why it's so hard to be a Samadarshi is Kali Yuga itself is a very disturbing time. Everybody around you influences you, including the influence of social media, but even family members, neighbors, they also influence you. Sometimes you're very trying to keep up with everybody else, and that can be a big distraction, and it's hard to, again, focus on spiritual life.
Now let us discuss about practical ways to becoming a Samadarshi by first looking at how Prabhupada exemplified it. He was able to give Krishna consciousness to anyone and everyone he encountered, regardless of whether they are hippies or drug addicts. As we know, he faced a lot of difficulties while in New York. He shared his apartment with meat eaters, drug addicts. His typewriter was stolen, but still he was not disturbed. Many of us know about his Rolex watch pastime, where he, without a second thought, gave his Rolex watch to his disciple and instead accepted a Seiko watch from another devotee, which was considered cheap in material standards. But since Prabhupada was 100% detached, he was able to see Paramatma even in those watches and treat them equal. Now let us discuss some ways on how to practice being a Samadarshi. First, by remembering that we are not the body but spirit soul. So this is the foundational teaching on which the subsequent principles rest upon. Next, by also remembering that we are tiny when compared to Krishna, this will keep us grounded and humble. And also by regularly investing in knowing the science of the absolute truth by hearing Krishna Katha, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, etc. Also by making sincere effort to not be envious of others. And also by not seeing the external conditioning of others and treating everyone equal. It is said that we should hate the sin and not the sinner. And last but not the least, taking guidance from senior Vaishnavas on how to deal with the circumstances. In conclusion, practicing these principles leads to steadiness of mind and thus become strong in our bhakti. This will in turn help us in our path to becoming a Samadarshi. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Nice analysis of Samadrashti. Hare Krishna.
Okay, we seem to be doing very good with respect to time. So group number 2.
Hare Krishna, everyone. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Accept my humble obeisances and Dandavat Pranam. Okay, our topic is rejoice within a true happiness, verse 24. Scene 1, material world. Lavish office with high-tech gadgets, luxurious furniture, and a large window showcasing a stunning city view. Steve, a successful businessman, sits at his desk, looking stressed and overwhelmed, talking to himself. I have achieved everything I have ever wanted: wealth, power, and recognition. But why do I still feel so empty inside? Steve friend John enters the room looking concerned. So, Steve, you have been working so hard. When was the last time you took a break or spent time with your family? I can't remember. There is always another deal, another project. I thought all this success would make me happy, but it hasn't. You know, Steve, I have found something that has brought true joy and peace into my life. Really? What is it? Happiness, peace, and joy come from spirituality, not possession. In other words, happiness sprouts from within us. It is not something that we can acquire or achieve from outside. The essence of spirituality is Krishna consciousness. Can you speak more about Krishna consciousness? Yeah, Krishna consciousness means being aware that Krishna or God is the supreme Lord, and we are part and parcel of Him. As a spirit soul, we are always hankering after Krishna, as that is our real identity. But because we are attached to material possession or condition in this material world, we have forgot our real identity as spirit soul, and also forgot our relationship with Krishna. As a result, we now hanker for matter, and our life has become miserable. No living soul can be happy in this material world, and if someone claims to be happy, it's just an illusion. How can a prisoner be happy in a jail? We, the soul, are a spark of divine, so we are conditioned by this material body, we can't experience happiness. To be happy means to remember what we have forgotten. This is where our Krishna spiritual spark, and we can only be happy in his association. How can we get association of Krishna? We get Krishna association by performing a devotional service unto Krishna or performing a Krishna Bhakti. Scriptures talks about the 9 ways how we perform Bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dashyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. We can follow one or all of the 9 processes with sincerity, then association with the Lord is guaranteed, which alone can make us happy and content. Of the 9 processes for this age of Kali, the Kirtanam or the chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is recommended. Seen to realization. A hospital room where Steve lies on hospital bed looking frail and reflective. The beeping of medical equipment is heard in the background. John sits beside him holding his hand. John, I have been thinking about what you said all my life. I chase after things that I have thought would bring me happiness, but now at the end I realize how futile it all was. It's never too late, Steve. True happiness comes from within, from connecting with Krishna and understanding the eternal nature of our soul. I wish I had understood this sooner, but maybe it is not too late to find some peace. It's never too late. Chant with me, Steve. Let's find that peace together. Scene 3, Devotee Bliss. A serene temple garden, devotees are gathered, chanting and dancing with joy. The atmosphere is filled with love and harmony. Steve, now looking peaceful and content, joined the devotee with John. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I have never imagined I could feel such peace and happiness. It's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder. That's true happiness, Steve. It's come from connecting with Krishna and living the life of devotion. Those who are beyond the dualities, who live in the joy of the self, whose minds are steady and free of illusion, attain eternal happiness in the very life is embracing Krishna consciousness. Bhagavad Gita 5.24. Okay, one whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoice within, and whose aim is inward is actually the perfect mystic. He is liberated in the Supreme and ultimately he attains the Supreme. Bhagavad Gita chapter 5:24. The scene fades out with the devotee continuing with the joyous chant illustrating the contrast between the temporary happiness of the material world and eternal bliss of spiritual realization. The true happiness is not found in the material luxuries of the world, but in the divine connection with the Krishna. Even those who realize this truth late in the life can find peace and joy through devotion. Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Any question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, did you? So this looks like a conversation you were doing, both the speakers.
Yeah, so we had technical difficulties in the last moment. Some of us are not here.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Okay. Group number 1.
Hare Krishna. Good evening, everybody. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today's skit is on the topic of Goswami versus Godasa. This is a conversation between two friends, Piali and Atashi, that are meeting after 5 years at a college reunion. Their propensities, personalities, and qualities are different. The dialogue leads to the advantages concluded by Lord Krishna in verse 5.29 of the Bhagavad Gita. Piali is materialistic, ambitious, and loves enjoying life. A Godasa, who is a slave of her senses. Atashi is a practicing devotee who reads Srila Prabhupada books and looks for ways to put his instructions into her activities. She engages her senses in Krishna consciousness with knowledge of the Supreme Lord. She's a Goswami, a master of her senses.
Hi, Atashi. How are you? You look the same, poised and confident. Tell me more.
Hello, Piali. It's lovely to see you. I am wonderful. I am a school teacher and an aspiring spiritualist. I'm a work in progress. What about you?
Oh, I'm a sales executive with a well paying job. My bosses love me. It's hectic, 16-hour days, but then on weekends it's parties, movies, new restaurants, and such. Tell me, are you still a bookworm like before?
Ah, you remember. I still read a lot, mostly books by Srila Prabhupada. I volunteer at the temple, ISKCON temple during evenings and weekends. I am enjoying it and very satisfied.
Wow, that is a big statement from you. Don't you want a better job, more money? I travel a lot, meet cute guys, drink good wine. That reminds me, have you been to the new bar in Silver Spring?
Piali, slow down. Don't underestimate my busy schedule. My days start at 4 in the morning and it goes on. I go to Silver Spring every Saturday for Harinam Sankirtan. We sing, we dance and distribute books. The lyrics has got many names and are rhythmic. Passerbys join us in the fun and ask so many different questions. They love the prashadam we give it to them. We meet new people who are interested in this deep hidden knowledge of Krishna consciousness, basking without gratitude. As for a better job, I am happy with my current job. I'm not complaining. I teach my students wholeheartedly to impart knowledge. I give my best and leave the rest to Krishna. Now let me ask you, Piali, are you happy?
Isn't that life tiring and boring? You have little ambition. Where did this self confidence come from? What's your secret? For me, I'm anxious, unhappy, and lonely sometimes. But then by Fridays, I plan fun things. Life is a big cycle. Weekends, weekdays, weekends, weekdays.
I am hardly bored, Piali, or lonely. To read or have a good conversation with other devotees is joyful. I am surrounded by them. I have lofty goals. I want to use my time, my gift of this cross body to further my spiritual journey. I sing, I dance, I honor Prashadam, I participate in Aarti. I'm always looking forward to hear more, learn more, and meet my devotee friends. I love teaching youngsters in school whose minds are fertile to explore their true selves, using their senses and discover their relationship to the Supreme Being. So I do this for Lord Krishna, his devotees, and for all the living beings I come across in my life's journey.
Atashi, can you take me to the temple or to the Silver Spring Sankirtan the next time? And I want that good food you're talking about. In fact, I'm free this coming Saturday.
Yeah, sure. I'll pick you up on Saturday afternoon. See you then.
So in this skit, Atashi epitomizes a Goswami who understands that Krishna is at the center of all her sacrifices, activities, and meditations. Her understanding is definite and unchangeable. Krishna is Maha Ishwar of every living being on all planets. He is the well-wisher of all without partiality. This knowledge in Krishna consciousness and its practice can deliver sukha, santi, and ananda to everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu is very good. I like the way that you use the PowerPoint to summarize the flow of the skit. I think it made the skit much more natural, and kept us guessing also. I think seeing the skit on the screen, we know what the next person is going to speak. So I think this was able to maintain the spontaneity of the interactions also. And yes, I like the highlights that you put on the slides, and the content was awesome. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, I think very nice presentations, everyone. Prabhuji, we have 7 minutes more. Do you have any questions for the students, Prabhuji?
No, I think we are in a kind of a unique situation today that we are actually ending before time.
Yes.
So just want to leave it open. If there are any questions anybody would like to ask, please go ahead.
I mean, I do have one question for one of the groups based on their presentation, but I'll wait in case anybody has questions first for you.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go ahead with my question. The question is for group 3. Actually group 4, and their topic was performing one's duty without attachment and how to practice this in today's age. So it was a very nice presentation, Prabhu's. I wanted to also listen from you and know your realization in today's corporate world. When we work, it's very competitive out there. So how do we practice working and performing our duties without attachment? And is it also giving room for others to take a ride on us? If somebody from group 4 can help based on their presentation.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Prabhu, can you repeat your question, Prabhu? Lastly, I did not understand. That is, can someone override on that means, Prabhuji?
Yeah. So see, I'm in a corporate world which is very competitive in nature, right? And we are all, it's a funnel out there to go
Yes.
up the ladder, right? So
Yes,
to practice our work without a lot of, attachment, and we are very humble, and we always keep others ahead of, us. Does it minimizes our chances to grow, and how do we deal with that?
Okay, Prabhu. So this one, we are just everything, all the results, we have to leave for Krishna, Prabhuji. So when we are working in that situation, Prabhuji, we have to deal with very intelligently, Prabhuji. Krishna has given some intelligence. We have to act like smart, Prabhu. And beyond that, if we cannot go beyond that means, Prabhu, but we can feel like it's our karma, Prabhuji.
Sure. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Yeah, it also reminds me of the definition that Bahari Prabhuji often says, and I think this is from Radhanath Maharaj's class, that the definition of humility is to not think low of yourself, but is to think less of yourself. So I think it kind of applies here that, we can still be, competitive, but yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Rupa Raghunath Prabhu. Very nice question and answer. So if there's Sanjay Prabhu, you had some
Yes,
thoughts?
Prabhuji. I have one question, Prabhuji. I just wanted to share my realization, and just wanted to know your thought, Prabhu. So I mean, generally we came up across 2 types of devotees, Prabhuji. One is with mood to serve a lot of services in temple, or involve in a lot of other activities which is related to the Krishna consciousness. And one person is basically, he's also Krishna conscious person. He following all the regulations very strictly. He doing Mangala Arati and everything, like whatever the sadhana following, right? But the person is basically, he always prefers to stay at home. He gives that, okay, whatever I'm going, he gives the priority to all the activities which is he's doing. Like, for example, going to office, and he always have some excuse, and because he's a good understanding of shastras, right? He always relate, okay, everything we are doing for Krishna only, right? Like, I'm going to office, I'm not going to temple, but I'm going to office because this is also service to Krishna, Prabhu. So I just wanted to understand, Prabhu, how we can understand these activities, how we can take these activities are more or less or like Krishna conscious, or it's like, based on our convenience and comfortable, we are saying that, this is like all our Krishna activities, but we, always avoid like going to the temple or, meeting the people and, discussing with the devotees, all basically like, keeping ourselves as a isolated, but we are following all the regulations which Prabhupada had said, and like, which is like helping us to improve in our bhakti, Prabhu. I hope, you understand my question, Prabhu.
I think so, Prabhu. Nice
Yeah.
practical question. I think if I were to summarize the question, you were basically asking about the importance of Vaishnava Sangha in making spiritual advancement. And this point has been made very clear in Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Prabhupada that the basis of our spiritual advancement is Vaishnava Sangha. So at least for devotees at our level, we need that in order to do the other things that you're saying, to have this realization that if you're going to work, we are working for Krishna, if you're taking care of the family. It's an exalted stage. And the only way to get through it is by serving the Vaishnavas. In the Nectar of Instruction, we'll study about the 6 confidential exchanges. Dadati pratiganati guhyamakti prachati bhongte mochate cheva. So Rupa Goswami talks about the 6 confidential exchanges between Vaishnavas that nourishes one bhakti. And as a result of it, then one begins to develop this platform of whether you're at work or whether you're with your family, it's as a service of Krishna. Having said that, we also have our own propensities. By nature, some of us are more comfortable reading a book. We are introverted. Some of us are more happy in the association of devotees. So association can be both through Vapu and Vani.
Yeah.
So one can read Prabhupada's books, and that is as good as associating with Srila Prabhupada through his words. And one can serve Srila Prabhupada by going to the temple. The example that is given is that if the sun is actually shining, then light and warmth will automatically come. So even though we may have a propensity of being more isolated, but as we cultivate our bhakti one way or the other, then this desire to serve other Vaishnavas and associate with them, that will automatically fructify. There are devotees who come to the temple. I know one devotee is coming for 20 years. He just comes to the temple, parks his car, goes to the kitchen. For 3 hours, he washes pretty much by himself. I have rarely seen him talk. Very, very quiet devotee. Washes everything nicely, cleans up everything, gets back into the car, goes back. So his nature is he's quiet, he's reserved, but he also has a strong desire to serve. So they kind of go hand in hand. And one of the bellwethers, one of the measures that we have, how much we are advancing, is how much do we enjoy serving Vaishnavas, how much do we relish the Sangha.
Okay, Prabhu. Makes sense.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll end over here. Thank you so much for your attention.
Yeah, so Prabhuji, sorry, one quick one.
Prabhu, please
Sorry,
go ahead.
Prabhuji. Is there any homework, Prabhuji, for next week? I'm sure you will be giving the overview for chapter 6.
Yes. So no group presentation for next week. I'll give the overview for chapter 6. I have to upload the lectures. I'm a little behind. So the next couple of days, please keep a lookout. I'll be uploading the chapter 6 lectures also. And based on that, I'll be doing the summation and question answers next week.
So, Prabhu, I have a question. When you upload the lectures, will you please drop a note on the wherever WhatsApp? Because I know sometimes it takes time to update the web page. So That's why I'm saying just drop a note over there so that we know the link to and we can use it.
Okay, will do. Also, if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get a notification whenever the lecture is uploaded.
Okay. Okay,
If
I'll
you
subscribe. Yeah.
subscribe, and I'll also put it on the WhatsApp group that the lecture has been uploaded.
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhu. I just
Okay.
want to say that
Thank you.
when you
Mancha
subscribe,
kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant Koti Vaishnavind ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
I Gaur Premanande. Hare
Hari
Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare